It's been a high-quality day already here in Leicester at the BetVictor Championship League, and well, Xiao Guodong can't wait to break off, it would seem, for this next match against John Higgins. He needs the points, I guess, is maybe why he's itching to get on with it, because although he beat Gary Wilson in his first match, he lost 3-0 to Karen Wilson, whereas John Higgins, of course, has played 1-2 already. So Higgins, with 2 matches to play tonight, he plays Tom Ford later, could actually pretty much rubber stamp qualification for the playoffs. So we're underway. Higgins and Karen Wilson, of course, at the moment on 2 points. Got Neil Robertson, Gary Wilson, Mark Selby, Xiao Guodong all on 1. Tom Ford played 2, lost 2. Higgins looked good earlier, battled through 2 hard-fought matches, 3-2 against Robertson and Selby. He also scored well in those matches, and already a nice red finds the target at the start of this opening frame. Got the call Saturday saying to come into this group because Ali Carter decided to withdraw, and I guess he said his own practice table the best of states at the moment, so he thought, well, come down, obviously you earn money, you play the best in the world, chance to get in the winners group. Of course, he is the winner of this tournament 4 times.
Yes, and of course he's just returned from Germany. I mean, lost to the eventual champion Judd Trump there, but played some good snooker, John Higgins, so he knows his form's there. Oh, that was a really good pot from John Higgins. That black was very missable. Not only did he pot the black cleanly, he controlled the positional aspects of the shot to perfection.
60.
Well, another look this. That black was missable, but that cannon to the red there was perfectly played.
Yes, he's looked sharp today, and he's already had a couple of centuries.
20.
So Higgins just looking, as I say, to press on in this session. Certainly if he got to 3 wins, you know, you'd expect to see him tomorrow. 4, he'd be guaranteed to be coming back. So he can do all the work tonight. Let everyone else sweat it out tomorrow before the playoffs. Top 4, remember, tomorrow after the group phase is concluded, will go into the playoffs, and the eventual winner goes into the winners group, where already we've got Stuart Bingham and Chris Wakelin from groups 1 and 2 respectively. To be honest, he couldn't have had 2 much tougher matches to start with, could he, John Higgins today? Neil Robertson in the first of them.
30.
Started there with a century. He also made one against Mark Selby, a total clearance in fact. Already looking good. If he's on this red, is he on it? He's sort of shaking his head.
39.
Ah, it looked good for a moment, and then that keyboard just ran an extra millimetre too far, it would seem. Just a safety shot. A break of 39. Good start to this frame, but just look at the position of the reds. If Xiao Guodong can get in, that 39 points lead of John Higgins could soon disappear.
A very gutsy shot that is, and well played. Well, he's held up for bulk colour, so sort of forced his way in there, hasn't he? Brilliant shot. Higgins assumed that was reasonably safe. Guodong's just slipped back in the rankings a little, 38. It's obviously when he was invited into this, he was higher up. semi-finalist this season at the British Open.
4.
Twice been in the winners group of Championship League, most recently just last year.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? What can go wrong
11.
when you have to play a cannon? The previous red wasn't well played. He's a good 4 or 5 inches short of position on the black there, so had to play a positional cannon. And you'd think leaving the cue ball there, you bounce beyond something, but he really isn't. There is a potable red, but it's very tricky.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got the extended rest out. Again, he's done so well there. So the first pot was excellent, so was that one to keep it going. John Higgins, as Dom said, was just millimetres away from being on a red, probably frame over. Played what he thought was a decent safety, but well, might not get another shot in this frame.
Well, this is another important positional shot for Xiao Guodong.
7.
Very important to give himself a good angle on the blue here by being high on it. If he's low on it, he'll have a lot of work to do with the cue ball, so important positional shot coming up here. Oh well, the pink is available. Must assume the pink's on its spot. I think it is, so it won't be tied up either, so it's much better to play for the pink. It was a certainty. So we're just going to pop across to table 2 and have a look at Gary Wilson in action, who's just about to wrap up a very comfortable 3-0 win over his namesake Kyron Wilson. What a performance it's been for Gary Wilson in these first 2 matches of the afternoon stroke evening session for him. He's played some incredible snooker.
56.
Yeah, well, 3-0 over Tom Ford in no time. We know that Kyron was playing good stuff because he'd won his first 2 matches, but Gary, I'm going to say I don't know what he had for dinner, but it was the same as what we all had. So
60.
he just came out feeling good, playing good. It can happen. They're all so good. Any one of them can turn it on in any moment. And Gary Wilson, what a spell for him. Not only to win, but 2 3-0s. Put himself right in contention now. He lost to Xiao Guodong 3-2 in his first match.
71.
Yep, brilliant stuff
78 frame a
from
match.
Gary Wilson. 78 to conclude victory. No time at all. Now then, well, he's on certainly one to the far corner. Good recovery. Just to say, the last match on table 2 in about 5 minutes, Mark Selby will play Neil Robertson. Heavyweight clash if ever there was one. Wilson, by the way, had breaks of 77, 115 and 78.
And I think he's won 2 matches in pretty much something like 40 minutes per piece. Incredible, that.
Yeah, he had a 79 and an 80 against Ford, so that really is, as you say, an incredible passage of play for him, spell of play. He'll be back tomorrow. Play Selby and Higgins, and indeed Robertson. 3 big hitters, but in that form he won't mind. Because that's the thing, isn't it? 4 names there. Gary Wilson, along with Robertson, Selby and Higgins. Only one of them won a ranking event this season, and it's Gary Wilson.
Oh, he's been in positional trouble a few times during the course of this break, Xiao Guodong, but
50.
just needs 4 more pots to secure victory in this opening frame. As you say, Dave, John Higgins played what he thought was a decent safety shot, having been very unfortunate himself to have the opportunity to win the frame in 1 hit. Doesn't look as though he'll be returning to the table now, just this red and high value colour required.
60.
Yeah, well, Xiao Guodong saw close up against Robertson that the standard required in this group. And maybe he just thought, I'm not going to start trying to compete in the safety with Higgins. I'm just going to go for it, and he did. Great pot to get in. Terrific break. Terrific standard all round today. Really has been. Pretty much every match. In big breaks, we're seeing quality.
67.
Those players, I think everyone recognises, got a bit of something about him. Quite an elegant player in a couple of finals.
76.
Not quite making that breakthrough tournament. Still happen, of course. That's his birthday on Saturday, 35. So what has Higgins done wrong, really? He's unlucky, got to say, not to be on a red. He played safe. Xiao Guodong not potted a great red to the middle, and he's cleared up. We're 94. Terrific start from him to lead John Higgins 1-0. So 1-0 it is to Xiao Guodong. This is the second match of the session here this evening in Leicester. Higgins will play the last one against Tom Ford. Just a reminder, Higgins has won his first 2 matches. Xiao Guodong won his opening one, lost his second, as we saw 2-0 Robertson on this table. Clearly this group is going to take some sorting out, and that's why we saw Gary Wilson won 2 out of 3. The one he lost 3-2, and of course after points it goes on frames 1. So lose 3-2, that's all he's not necessarily lost. Those frames may well quite significant tomorrow on the countback. Gary's actually, at the moment, top of the table.
Didn't sound a great contact, that, but I'm just looking at the 2 reds above the main bunch there below the pink, and John is 2 now. They look to be very closely set as a plant to this right corner to me, and it's certainly worth playing because the cue ball would avoid the pack of reds and he'd have a chance to be on blue or bolt colour, but John's had a look at it. Maybe he doesn't like it, or maybe he does. Well, that looks very potable to me. I'll be surprised if he doesn't make this plant. Oh, beautifully played. Controlled the cue ball well. It's always a lovely bonus for a player when the plant is in evidence. That red above the black, if it pots to the left corner, will be a help to John Higgins too.
John Higgins, as we were saying earlier today, a 4 times winner of this Championship League. So it got him in the Champion of Champions this season, winning it last year. Of course, a ranking title now for 3 years. Come perilously close on a few occasions. A couple since he won that Players' Championship in 2021. But I think he's playing a lot better this season than last season. He did struggle. Wasn't in any of those Players' Series events. He's already played World Grand Prix, albeit Sean Murphy beat him 4-0. He'll be in the Players' Championship in Telford a couple of weeks' time. Trying to get enough ranking points to get in the Tour Championship in Manchester in April.
The red above the black, just at the bottom of that group there. Will pot into the opposite corner. John's played for it here because in potting it now, with the angle that he's left himself on this red, you can just skim off the group of reds above this red,
20.
bring a couple more into play and try and maintain position on the black perhaps.
22.
Didn't really bring any into play, maybe one, but he has choice of pink or black here.
$29. 30.
But it got to this stage in the last frame, didn't he? And then just slightly... Well, he's unlucky not to get on a red. Just a couple of millimetres would have been on it. And had one more shot.
$36. 37.
So he's still got a few loose reds to play on here. To the lead with this blue. Higgins has never really been one to, as I said earlier, go into the reds early, although you don't need to. There's no point doing that.
Now he's just perhaps left himself an angle here to punch this black in and just nudge that red next to it. If he's very straight on the black, he may be able to screw back past the red. Well, that's what he did play. He was very straight on the black, was able to play the positional shot that he wanted to play.
50.
And this is what's, commendable. Not just among the top players in snooker, but in most sports, is their resilience.
51.
The way John Higgins lost that first frame, he might have psychologically been on a bit of a downer, and it may have affected his play, but not with the top players. And John is certainly one of those.
Well, he's seen everything, hasn't he? Down the years, that's the point. And what's been a long and very successful career that began as professional in 1992.
58.
Now then, on the other table, Mark Selby and Neil Robertson, real heavyweight clash, are underway. Still in the early throes of the opening frame, but Selby at the table, red far and wide. Higgins got a loose red in bulk, so again, need to disturb the cluster of reds. Would win the frame this red and a colour. Scoreboard, although he's short on it. Come short on it.
60.
Yeah, you can see he's annoyed. In the end,
60.
just played the snooker. 64 in front, but 75 remain.
Wow, that was incredibly clumsy from Xiao Guodong. He seemed to play that with an awful lot of pace. What was he thinking of there?
Well, what he'll be thinking now is I've lost the frame. It's just to set it up for Higgins. Couldn't have asked for anything more than that for John. So we're going to be level. Yeah, bit of a blunder.
Nine. $60. 17. 20. 25.
The frame's over, but even so, that was nicely dispatched red.
$30. 30. 36. 37. 40. 46. 49. 50. 58.
So 2 visits have done the work for Higgins.
64.
Did no time at all. He's levelled the match. Didn't do
71 on
much
the
wrong,
frame,
let's be
Johnny.
honest, in the first frame. He's made amends here in the second. So we're all square at one each. Well, it's been a very enjoyable day here at the Morningside Arena, and we continue into frame 3 with John Higgins levelling at 1-all with Xiao Guodong. Table 2, Mark Selby in the last match there has just won the first frame against Neil Robertson. At the moment there are 3 players on 2 points, Gary and Karen Wilson and Higgins as well. Robertson, Selby and Xiao Guodong all on 1. Tom Ford is the one struggling, played 2, lost 2. He plays Higgins here on table 1 after this. But all the signs are that every frame really is going to count throughout the rest of today and tomorrow in terms of who finishes in the top 4 of the playoffs.
I was just looking at John Higgins' cue action there and how deliberate it was, because that was such an important pot to knock in, potentially quite a risky one. But goodness, he cued it well. He really did. Didn't touch the sides. Now, does that red above the black that's almost occupying its spot go into this left corner? It must do. John has played for it. Okay, he's not on it, but he's certainly on the one to the left of the cue ball, okay.
5. Six.
Fun and games for Rob Spencer, the referee here, with this pink.
Can't go there, surely.
No, but see, particular sort, had to check. No, got to go as close to its spot as it can, in a line with the spots, can't touch a ball.
That's 12.
Well, John could pot the blue and go into the reds, but he doesn't really want to, because there are a couple of loose reds near the black that he wants to get out of the way, and he doesn't really want to risk tying the black up in any way. So he may play the green and try and get again on that red that's just above the black that will pot into the left corner. Oh, this is too pacey. He's on nothing. Nothing at all. He'll be bitterly disappointed there, John. Just needed that one good positional shot. He would have been in business.
70. Just check. Did you take a green or brown? Was green. I put a brown. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, sorry, it's just my mistake. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh well, Rob Spencer just owning up to a mistake there. He previously put a brown on
Thanks.
the scoreboard of John Higgins instead of the green, which was his last pot of that break.
never know, that single point might come into play later.
Three. Four.
That's never an easy positional shot
11.
to play, and you rebound the cue ball off a side cushion and back across the ball that you're intending to play next.
12.
Now, does John screw the cue ball into the pink and the reds? Could probably do with cannoning the red just below the pink first. That would almost guarantee him position on the red there that's closest to the cue ball.
Ninety. 20.
Well, does John intend going into the reds this time? I would have preferred to go into them from the blue myself. Yeah, it hasn't worked out. Now, for me, John missed a trick there. I know the two reds at the top of the main bunch weren't particularly
26.
set well for going into them, but that little shelf of balls there at the back of the pack were never inviting in terms of developing them well.
John Higgins, 27.
So useful lead for Higgins, but still there.
Xiao Guodong potted an excellent red to the opposite centre in the first frame, which set up a frame-winning break for him. Can he pull out another here?
One.
Oh, well, he flirted with the green pocket, but that's finished quite nicely. He's got a lovely angle on the brown just to advance the cue ball forward for the red that's next to it. Great pot, this.
Five. 6.
All of the 8 previous meetings have had have come in the Championship League. Overall, Higgins has the nod 5-3.
Well, I don't know if he's on the pink. It has to be dead straight on it to be easily able to get onto the next red. And he isn't, so he's going to have to play the black. But if he can just avoid the pink and go into the 4 reds next to it, can't see him not being on a red. Well, that red that's next to the pink clearly pots, and he's played it beautifully. And that could really open the frame up now for Xiao Guodong. That red that's next to the pink obviously just pots. Now, can he leave an angle on the pink just to nudge into the 4 reds and develop them? It shouldn't be difficult. Well, I think the pink spot's occupied, so the red above the pink will probably pot to the left centre. That's what he's played for, so that's a little bit of a bonus. That's amazing. He hasn't really had to play into the reds at all, because I think the red at the bottom of that trio will pot into the same pocket, the left centre. In turn, that makes way for the other 2 reds into this left corner. This is excellent from Xiao Guodong. Came to the table 43 points behind. And I think he's just gone favourite now to take this 3rd frame.
Be another steal. He did similar in frame 1. High standard being produced on both tables today. Mark Selby's just about to go 2-0 up on Neil Robertson on table 2. A little short on this next red. Calmly done though.
Yeah, he doesn't have the best angle on the pink though. If he pots it cleanly, holding for the red shouldn't be difficult. Yeah, well done. John Higgins has twice been a little unfortunate. Had a lead of 39 points in the 1st frame. Was unlucky not to be on a red. Played a safety shot that he thought would be okay. It wasn't. It cost him the frame. Similarly here, he went into the reds, didn't land on anything. Xiao Guodong pots an excellent red to the left centre. He's setting up himself nicely now to go within a frame of victory.
Yes, John Higgins has made the running in all 3 frames, isn't he? He's going to be 2-1 down. So that's credit to his opponent. Really gone for his shots here. Guodong bouncing back from that 3-1 defeat to Neil Robertson on this table
60
prior to this match. Showing good attitude and just being able to blank that out. John Higgins going to suffer his first defeat today.
$75. 82.
Wonderful
On the
clearance
frame.
that from Xiao Guodong, 82. And he's back in front at 2-1. We saw Neil Robertson play superbly on table 1 earlier, 2 centuries to beat Xiao Guodong 3-1, but here he is on table 2 in trouble. Mark Selby leads him 2-0. Selby got 1 point from 2 matches thus far. He beat Tom Ford first up, lost to Higgins. Right in the mix in terms of the overnight position if he can win this frame. 3-0, obviously the frames count comes into play then. .66 break in the first. Neil Robertson was in the second. He missed a pink to the left middle, and Mark Selby made 89. And that seems to be the pattern today. Any mistake seems to be being punished on every match you see, every frame you see. Just taking not massive errors they seem at the time, but they end up being ruthlessly punished. And watch table 2 live on the True Multisport YouTube channel. Selby just looking ahead to tomorrow. Play Gary Wilson, Karen Wilson, and also Xiao Guodong. John Higgins then looking to force a decider. He's already, of course, 1-2 today against the 2 we've just seen, Robertson and Selby. Higgins plays the last match on this table against Tom Ford.
As we said, John Higgins hasn't done a lot wrong. Just 2 safety shots that were pretty good, but ultimately proved not to be good enough. And he finds himself 2-1 behind.
touching ball.
Well, there is a possible red to the right corner, and Xiao Guodong could leave himself on the black from it, but doesn't seem particularly interested in it. Oh, well, that's gone wrong. Needs some cover. He may just get some. Oh, well, that's about as fortunate as he was ever likely to be there. Now, just wonder how profoundly snookered John Higgins is on that red near the corner pocket. Can he plant the two reds onto it, perhaps? That's what he's looking at. Needs to make this if it doesn't work. Xiao Guodong will have a wonderful chance to win frame and match. Pressure on this.
One.
He's certainly on the pink. But the main thing is he played the plant well, he potted it. Twofold. Firstly, removed the danger, leaving it on for Xiao. And secondly, of course, he's now in with a chance to put something together. As I say, in every frame he's been in first and taken the lead, but only one of them he's won so far. Fun and games here for Rob Spencer. Pink spot. First goes on there.
Sam. Eight.
Oh, John Higgins' foot there came very close to leaving the floor on impact with the cue ball, or the tip rather. Once it struck the cue ball, not sure whether John's foot was on the floor or not there.
Thirty.
The red that's two up from the black, if John can get onto that into the left corner, that would really open things up for him, because the black would then be easily pottable into the right corner, and the red that's closest to the black would also be available. as cleanly as intended there. That's why he's finished low on this next red, but shouldn't be a problem. Just wonder if John can cannon into the red above the one he's playing just to hold for the black.
Yeah. 35.
If that pink goes on its spot, is he still in the red? Yes. Just enough room for it. At that stage again where John is just a few more pots away from securing the frame, but he may have to play a cannon into these 5 reds. And once again, it didn't finish well because there was a shelf of reds above the black. And unless you catch your intended red perfectly, it can often go wrong, and it has again.
Yeah, we've seen evidence in this match. Higgins rarely plays cannons unless he feels he has to, unless he's run out of loose reds, but they're not going right.
John Higgins, 57.
So 57 the lead, still plenty on. The red on the side cushion, but Xiao Guodong way bringing it off.
Oh, he's played a great shot here. He's covered the 4 reds in the middle of the table by the brown, so John forced to bring one of the 2 awkward reds into play now. He needs to make sure he plays this one well enough. And he hasn't. At least he hasn't left a pot on for Xiao Guodong, because at the moment, given the position of the balls, this frame could still be anybody's, really. Cue ball has cannon the yellow here. Xiao Guodong can cut this red into the left corner. Can take the cue ball around the back of the black and away to safety. He knows the pink is waiting there for him. Deciding against it, though. I'm rather surprised.
One.
Well, excellent pot from Higgins. Ready, of course, with good lead here. Great red to get back in. Well, the blue guided on, so that'll put him 63 ahead. Needs another red and a colour. Pacey that. Now then, table 2.
6.
Ox Selby 2-0. And leading by 17 on the last red against Neil Robertson. Trying to salvage this frame. Yeah, Higgins too far, so just the safety. And boy, what a safety.
John Higgins 6.
That's dangerous in a way, because sometimes Xiao Guodong in a situation like this can feel he's got no alternative but the hit and hope. Oh, that's a great shot though, isn't it? Two very intriguing frames in progress on both tables here. Hear the cogs whirring inside the head of John Higgins. I'm sure he's trying to contrive a way of putting a red on a cushion somewhere, but he just can't see a way to do it. John having a look to see if there's a possible red to the right corner, but there's a great chance he could get the cubal in behind yellow and brown here, though.
One.
to say, the standard of snooker and this opening day of Group 3 here today has been some of the best I've seen here at the Championship League. On both tables, it's just been incredible in terms of break building.
No trouble for Xiao Guodong. He's got to hit a red here, that's the bottom line, because otherwise he'll need a snooker, but obviously can't leave one on. The other problem. Great effort this. What a shot that is from Xiao Guodong.
John will not like that. He didn't put a red safe, and there's a chance here of snicking a red into the left corner for Xiao. The pink's waiting for him, but again, he's turning it down. Clear that he needs high-value colours. He's 64 behind with 67 on, but could have easily played for the pink, and he may rue that decision now, because I think John can have a go at this red.
Meanwhile, Neil Robertson stole that second frame from Mark Selby, so that match not done yet. Selby leads 2-1 on table 2.
This time Xiao Guodong, I'm sure, will take this red on. It's the only one he can see. And again, he can play for the pink, which is okay.
Well, once again, it's one good pot. Put the frame away. Time to think about what'll happen if you don't pot it too much.
One.
So, a couple of snookers required.
Round ball. John Higgins. One.
Pink. Chance he's on it. Oh, maybe not. Tagging the blue anyway. Tall order this. It's who he's playing more than anything. And well, there's no chance now, so that's going to be a concession, and for the third time in as many matches, John Higgins is going to be playing a decider. Remember, he won the first two. It's 2-2 with Xiao Guodong. He's got his money's worth out of today, hasn't he? Because this is his third match, is his third decider. He won the first two. He beat Neil Robertson, then he beat Mark Selby. Can he beat Xiao Guodong, who led 2-1, but Higgins
deciding frame.
In the end, dominated the decider. Sorry, the fourth frame. This is the decider. Let's see how unfolds. Xiao Guodong. I'm sure we'd like to get him first in a frame. That's not happened yet. Higgins has tated the early stages of all the frames, albeit, of course, has only won 2 of the 4. Mark Selby 2-1 up on Neil Robertson on table 2. That's live on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Selby ahead early on by 16 in frame 4.
That's a good break off from Xiao Guodong. The possible red has been left for John Higgins. Is no good to him. It's too risky. So this could be an interesting frame now already, because if Xiao Guodong can't play that red that's near Bolt back down the table, you'd see a series of safety shots played behind the black spot here.
Yes, very often the way the balls run dictate what sort of frame it is, certainly early on. Maybe that these reds scatter a bit and then one eventually steps in and makes a big break.
Very good safety Xiao's played there. He's got that cue ball so tight to this top cushion. I don't think John can return the cue ball there. There is a possible red to the right centre, but you're looking at probably 3 out of 10 even for somebody like John Higgins. So will he try and just rest the cue ball into the side of the pack, I wonder? Such a risk he took there. John Higgins had to find cover with the green. He's managed it. He's offered his hand in apology. Could be an important fluke, because if he can nestle the cue ball up behind the yellow, you never know. John Higgins could make an error here, but he does have that side of the pack to rest again the cue ball into, the left-hand side of the pack of reds. Shouldn't be a problem.
Higgins skimmed off them. Still awkward shot, the rest. Well, that's the sort of day it's been. There's been more of those sort of balls knocked in than missed today. You know, the sort of ones that you could forgive him if he missed it. He hasn't. So Xiao Guodong, see Higgins just peeping round there, He wanted to know if that was in or not. Bad news, John, for you, it is. So Xiao Guodong with the first good chance in this decider.
Well, the red next to the black certainly does toss into the left corner. This is a great chance for Xiao Guodong. It's all about positional accuracy, this little break here.
5. Ten.
Left himself choice of both pink or black here. They're a poor bunch to go into, I have to say, from the black. With those 3 reds above it all in a line. And I'm sure Xiao Guodong here will be mindful of that. So he has good angle here to go up for the blue. And then he can go into those reds, and they should split quite favourably. Pink spot occupied, so that goes on the only other available spot, the yellow.
70.
Meanwhile, Mark Selby is going to be victorious on table 2 against Neil Robertson. So problems for Robertson. He did win that match against Xiao Guodong earlier, but lost his other 3 matches, 1 point out of 4. Not looking good for him. He needs a strong performance tomorrow, clearly.
80.
He's got 2 matches left to play. Selby, meantime, finished the day with 2 points out of 3.
Xiao Guodong. 80.
That was a rather anxious strike of the cue ball. Just needed to play 1 good shot there. The reds have opened very well, but he hasn't left a pot on for John Higgins. He can consider himself extremely fortunate. Just didn't strike the cue ball fluently there. I'll tell you what, I think he's been really fortunate. I don't think John has a pot on. That could have cost Xiao the match very easily. Now is John considering a very unlikely plant here. This is unlike John to take this on. Oh, what a shot. What a shot that was. Whew, it's bravery, Dave.
Well, I totally agree with what you say. It's not a Higgins shot, this, really, is it? But he got it, so nobody can argue with it. Oh, Higgins shot that because the ultimate percentage player. The risk seemed
8.
heavier than the reward there, but the fact is he got it, and he is in with his chance in the decider. Can he make it 3 out of 3 today? Of course, there's still a match left to play.
Nine.
Selby's finished with a clearance of 129 against Neil Robertson 3-1. Robertson 1 point out of 4.
60.
So needs to win his last 2 tomorrow. He'll know what he has to do by then. He's playing the last 2 matches actually against Tom Ford and Gary Wilson. That concludes day 1 on table 2. Meantime, wow, out of nowhere. Consider the plant he knocked in, and then, well, maybe he just took that one for granted. That's all we can think there. That miss has come out of nowhere for John Higgins. How costly could that be?
Wow, what happened here? Wow, that's incredible. I was watching his eyes, because sometimes they can get ahead of you and they can move from cue ball to object ball too soon and cause you to mistime the stroke.
What?
I just don't know why John missed that. He'll know, that's for certain, what happened there. But what a time to make a mistake like that. Did he not keep his mind in the present? Was he thinking about winning the match from there? Who knows?
Weirdly, when you see a player miss like that, they're either thinking about the shot too much or not at all. It's one or the other. He's either not concentrating at all or he's thinking too much about what's ahead. Well,
5.
Well, only he will know the answer. But it's out of his hands now, this deciding frame. In general, it is something that's crept into Higgins' game. He did it last week in Berlin against Judd Trump. It's a 3-2 down. Match was in the balance. They're both playing well.
6.
And he just missed a red, not dissimilar to a different pocket, but straightforward. Never recovered. Trump, of course, was playing well anyway, beating 5-2.
Well, if Xiao Guodong does go on to win frame a match here, it'll really tighten the group up, I feel.
30.
John will have won 2 matches out of 3. Xiao Guodong, who currently is in 6th place out of 7,
40.
leapfrog quite a few players, so could be pretty tightly bunched at the top of the group table if Xiao can win this frame.
Twenty. 20.
Oh, that mistake from John Higgins,
29.
I can almost guarantee you will have cost him the match, because the position of the balls here for Xiao Guodong is absolutely ideal.
30.
33 points ahead, just black, red and colour. Numerous balls safe. I can't see John Higgins getting back to the table now, and I don't think he can, judging by his expression in the background there.
Well, he will, of course, play the next match against Tom Ford, but he won't start it in the best of spirits
37.
because it was in his hands there, and the miss, bearing in mind some of the balls have been knocked in this match by him as well, came out of nowhere. So
38.
this is the ball that Boring Snookers will give Xiao Guodong victory, put him clear of John Higgins in this frame. 48 in front with 43 on.
$40. Thank you. 46.
Xiao Guodong on 2 points out of 3. This is a very, very tight group now. Tom Ford could beat John Higgins, it would get even tighter, wouldn't it? Because there'd only actually be basically a point between everybody. Anyway, we will see. That's the last match coming up here on table 1. Doesn't matter about the red, it was an easier red, a much easier one that John Higgins missed into that pocket that made all the difference, and so that's his first defeat of the day, and Xiao Guodong ends his day with a 3-2 victory. So in 5 minutes' time, John Higgins will be back by the last match of the day against Tom Ford.